Hello everyone. I just thought I'd do a quick run through video tutorial on how to use BNI Connect following John's recent presentation. This video is really for the members of BNI Eclipse, part of BNI Merseyside. But if you're a BNI member wondering how to use Connect and you're from another chapter, then welcome. By way of introduction, I'm Duncan Reid of Click SCR Limited, and I look after anything to do with a business's online presence. Not so much the building of websites, but getting them found, getting the right sort of traffic. So, advert over, and let's look at BNI Connect. This is only going to be a very quick overview, really, to get everybody started. BNI Eclipse has just launched. It's been a core group for a little while, but it's a mixture of people who are new to BNI and existing BNI members. So, of course, existing BNI members who have transferred from other chapters will already have a BNI Connect profile that will have gone live again. So that'll be partly at least populated, and then other people have got one that's actually empty. So let's look at just what that is and why it's important. So if we just have a look at the chapter list on bnimerseyside.com, these are some of our lovely members, and clicking on a member's name will take you to their individual profile page, and there's a couple that I've already just checked out. So here's one, and a face that I'm sadly all too familiar with, and you can see my profile. There's lots of nice content in there. It says an awful lot about what I do, what the business does, ideal referrals, things like that, links to social, links to my website, trading address, and all the usual bits and pieces. But compare that with one of our other members who's just come on board, not yet had time to populate his profile, Dave Coleman. He's a fantastic handyman, but as yet he hasn't put anything on his Connect profile. And why Connect is so important is that the BNI Connect system, and it's BNI's own social media platform, if you like. Think of it as Facebook for BNI. It's quite simple, but at the same time it's extremely powerful. And all these member details that are available to the public, and also crucially available to the search engines to index, tells the search engines, tells Google, tells Bing all about your business and how to find you, and that's really important. All these are public, so the more details that you put on BNI Connect, which is the BNI internal system, they actually feed through and populate the public areas, so well worth doing. And is that important? Well, if I just do a quick Google search, you'll see that the first two results, even ahead of my own website, talking about me, are from bnimerseyside.com, both chapter and the member details. So definitely worth doing. So let's look now at just how we log in. A couple of different ways. I've got it stored up here in a separate folder for BNI, all sorts of useful BNI bits and pieces that go to theoretically on a daily basis, but that doesn't usually work out. But you've got the BNI Connect login also on here from the chapter page on BNI Merseyside. It's also in other places on BNI Merseyside. Or I've got it saved, but it just goes to exactly the same place. So let's get rid of a couple of these little windows, and there you see you've got the BNI Connect login. You've also got member traffic lights. Joe, the education coordinator, will doubtless be talking a lot more about traffic lights, as will John, our director consultant. Really important, particularly for the newer members who haven't come across them yet. It's a way of gauging your BNI activity and just prioritising your time and effort to get the maximum return out of it. Educational videos and workshops. Just as going off topic for a moment, get yourselves onto YouTube and just do a search for BNI videos. There are so many on there, it's untrue, and it covers every aspect of BNI. Don't forget, some of them are maybe a little bit out of date, some of them are to do with how it's done in other countries, but fundamentally the principles of BNI and Givers Gain remain the same. So get yourself on there, get yourself a large bucket of coffee and just sit down and watch some of the videos. There's some really good ones, and I also put those out on our Twitter account from time to time as well. So here we go. Let's click on the BNI Connect login. You get this page. You should have had username and password through from Jackie. If not, then you need to register down here. And if you've lost your password, the usual thing, well, yes, you can click there and reset it. So let's log in. Get rid of these spare windows. And straight away, this is your home page, and it will give you a little bit of a list of your performance to date. That mirrors what's entered on the Palm system by the membership coordinator. This is a little bit out of date because, of course, Eclipse has only just gone live, so it's a bit of a mishmash of old stats and new stats because we've been core for a little while. But what you want to do, certainly up here, is your equivalent, effectively, of the Facebook status update. So you can just put a little update to let people know what you're up to. You can also put a link in there if you're working for a particular client, anything along those lines. But first of all, we want to really just get our profiles either updated or filled out for the first time. So you've got a link here, update profile / my BNI page. There's also a link down here which says profile. That takes you to exactly the same place. So let's just click on this. You can see obviously mine is somewhat populated. I'm not going to bore you all by retyping it all, but it's really just to show you how to work your way through. On all of the BNI Connect pages, you've got this update down here, and this is just showing some of the recent connections. And we'll be coming back to connections in a moment because that's when you start using BNI Connect. And there's some great training courses held by John Byrne and Rosie Diver on BNI Connect. So get yourself onto the BNI Merseyside website, get yourself booked on those. bnibooking.co.uk will take you straight to the course and event booking page. Or of course you can just ask John and myself. So we'll start off with this first tab, and it's all just your normal details. A lot of these are set by BNI themselves, so if you wanted those changing, let's say you had a rebrand, you want to change your company name, then you need to get in touch with Jackie Camel and she can make those changes for you. Of course, if you decide you want to be known as something else, you can alter that. In here, we've got a little bit that's the My Business section, and that feeds through onto your external BNI membership page. That's the bit at the top. Let's just go back onto that. This area here, which is really a rather quick 60 seconds. One thing to note is, unfortunately, no matter how you fill it in on Connect, it won't put any line breaks in, so it all comes out as a single paragraph. A little bit clunky, not the best sort of interface, and there's bits and pieces that you'll find like this on Connect, but the system is so big that it really is quite difficult to make any changes like that. But we'll keep an eye open on that. You can see I put line breaks in, but they don't translate. So really just think of that as a quick cut down version of your 60 seconds. You can put keywords in here, really just the sort of thing that you're looking for. Again, it's very simplistic. One of the things John Byrne was talking about was putting things in inverted commas so it becomes a search phrase, because this system isn't as intelligent as Google when it comes to indexing and searching. Those keywords don't actually appear in the source code of your member page. If we were to look at the source code of that, they don't appear, but they are used internally when people are searching for a particular supplier. So put anything in there that you think is particularly relevant to yourself. So that's the basic, very nice and easy. Don't forget, you can also get an email copy of your last invoice as well. Keeps the bookkeepers happy. And always, when you've made any changes, click on update. And you need to click the update on each individual tab in turn. Don't try and go to the end and then click update. It doesn't work. You'll lose everything you've done. So moving along, we've got the next one. This is really just your user profile, your account details, where you can put a memorable question. I've just put something else in. I will be changing that back, so no, you can't get in and make edits. All the usual bits and pieces, but the important things, put a profile picture on there, get your company logo on there. It just helps drive the overall awareness of what you're what your business, what your company, what you yourself is all about. We could really do a photographer in the chapter, I think, to take some updated photos, but that's another story. Then, of course, you've got your contact details. Very important to get these in. Make sure that box is clicked, because we want the public to be able to search for you. We want your profile to be visible to the outside world, to Google, to Bing, to Yahoo, to all the other little search engines out there. This name and address is what's on your BNI records, so that can be left as is. Phone number, and whether you show it or not. There's a direct number, but that's blank, so it doesn't actually show, but I might as well turn that off anyway. Phone number, mobile number, pager. As you can see, it's a site that was designed for all over the world. I used to sell pages, but that was many years ago. Not sold one for about 20 years. Voicemail is also the same as my landline. Email, website, and then any social networking sites that you use. I know some of you use more than others, some of you use none at all, but if you have got any, then pop them in here. Little glitch on the system, that's if you put something in YouTube, it doesn't actually populate here with a YouTube icon, but the link is still there going through to the YouTube channel, so that's good enough for me. It's all about links. As many links as you can generate back to your web properties, they all count as little votes of confidence with Google, and they all help your personal visibility. So we'll make sure that's ticked to show them, and to add them, you just check or decide which are the default ones. Yes, there's others that would be nice to have in there. Instagram isn't in, for example, but it is what it is, and of course the system's so big that there's inevitably a bit of a natural lag. But get the main ones in there, and so what you would do to add another one, you just click it, click the add, and then fill in the actual link to your individual profile. You can also change which address appears on the BNI website, and here's my actual address, which is at Liskeard Business Centre. Some of you may know that our director consultant, John Byrne, supplies virtual offices. I think he's occasionally mentioned it just once or twice. And of course your billing details. And if you made any changes, click the update. Then moving along to your settings. Now just decide who you're going to show things to. As John was saying, some people have different ideas as to who you should share information with. Some people say it should just be your connections, people that you're connected to. Remember, it is a bit like Facebook, so you do connect to people. I'll show you about that in a moment. I've got it set to all, and if there's ever a problem, then I can start to dial that back. But I want the visibility above everything else. And yes, if I get a little bit more spam, then so be it. My details are in so many places around the web, it will get out there. So get the visibility and rely on spam filters and the delete button to get rid of anything else. You get updates sent through. These are for BNI groups, which are something that you'll use possibly when you get a little bit more experienced with Connect. It's a little bit like LinkedIn groups, if you've ever used that, and they're closed discussion groups where you can join in the conversation. So there might be a discussion group for joiners, for example, or decorators, or plumbers, or SEO people, or social media people. I know they exist because I'm part of them. And you can join in the conversation there with other BNI members in your own trade and profession all around the world. Great place just to bounce ideas around. You can also alter, of course, your email addresses. If you want notifications to go to a different email address, then that's where you can put it in, and you can decide which emails you want to get off the system. So whenever anything happens, it will let you know. Put all of these to yes, I would say, except the opt-out one. Might as well set that to no for now. And of course, if you made any changes, don't forget to click that update button. And then this is really the important part, your bio. It's very much like the bio that you'd fill in before doing your 10 minutes. So you can fill those in as much or as little as you want. All the usual bits and pieces. Don't forget this commercial one. It's a good place just to fit in a little bit more about some of your some of your skills or your offerings. I should probably work on these a little bit, but that's my usual 60 seconds tagline. And your gains profile, the sort of thing that you would use as part of a one-to-one. Some great new gain sheets being produced, and see Les for those. He's emailed those around. Recommends that you actually do it rather than gains, do it as Ignis to drive a one-to-one conversation. But again, you can either just copy them from something you've already got, or work on them. I did a fair bit of copy and pasting, but again, you can work on those. And the tops profile of this one is important again, because that tops profile is the bit that populates this public page on BNI Merseyside. So again, put some bits and pieces in there. I don't have any favourite BNI stories, or at least none that are publishable. And again, click the update. And once you've done all this, you're going to be, a long way towards making good, effective use of BNI Connect. And that last one is just a list of some of your training history. So once you've got all that filled in, and you've got a nice profile up here, then some of the ways that you can actually use BNI Connect. So let's go back here. Just click on the home icon, get you back to your normal page. Also, you've got your network, which, if you just click on connections first of all, by default, you'll be automatically connected to everybody in your chapter. So these are people in BNI Eclipse, but there may be other people that you want to connect to. They might be in a different chapter and you've already got a business relationship with them, or you'd like to connect with them because you think there might be some synergy. So if you have a look down here, there's received requests and sent requests that you send to other people or receive from other people. Now, my profile has been mothballed for a little while because I was changing chapters and it was a core group, so it's only just burst into life. But these are requests from other BNI members to connect with me that I need to just go through and decide whether to accept, ignore or reject. But if I have a look, this chap here, John Byrne, is our director consultant, but he's not already connected to me because he actually belongs to, but he doesn't belong to Eclipse because he's our consultant. He's not an actual member, but of course it makes a huge amount of sense to connect. So John has sent a connection request, and if you just read the message, and it's basically saying that it's all gone live. Folks, shall we connect? Well, of course we should, and it's as simple as hitting the accept. So straight away you can see that the all connections has now jumped up to 22, and there we've got John, and if you click on that, that then takes you to his profile and his contact details, and you can send messages, and that's also how you could ask for a testimonial, write a testimonial, anything along those lines. Also, if we have a look on here, we've got the groups, and as I said, these are closed discussion groups in effect, so really useful for chatting to other BNI members about different things. And here, this just popped up an overall list. Obviously not all are English, but if you're a website developer, then that's a useful place to participate. For the optics amongst us, and I'm currently wearing a pair of glasses supplied by a BNI member. Or you can search. So if we would search for, I don't know, plastering, straight away gives us a group that's a global property accounting. Could be interesting. Who knows? Who knows? But worth having a quick look, and you will get a digest email from those groups in your email if you've got that set. But you can also go into them and just participate. I'm not going to cover that in this video into any extent, because that's something for you to have a bit of a play around with, and we may in future do some more in-depth training. You've also got testimonials, You noticed just a moment ago where there was an option to either write a testimonial for one of your connections or to request one. So you can put testimonials in there. Testimonials that you've already received in your chapter don't appear in there. But what you can do with those, if you get a testimonial on somebody's letterhead, you've got a picture gallery here. So why don't you put it in a picture gallery? That's a scan of a newspaper article that I was in that featured BNI, and a couple of testimonials from other members that I've scanned and put on the picture gallery. And you do that by uploading, so it all helps your individual profile. So groups, all those discussion groups, connections is really one of the important ones for now. Testimonials, that will start to populate as we start doing digital testimonials for each other. And what I'd suggest is that we do a digital testimonial and a nice letterhead one in a frame, because there's nothing better than seeing those on a wall. And a picture gallery is somewhere where you can put pictures of some of your work, or in my case scan testimonials, but certainly for the building trades who are putting roofs on or anything like that, and they've got some great photographs, then that'd be a good place to put them. So that's the starting point, simple as that. You'll also see updates, and these are people, all my connections and who they've connected to, because there's a lot of BNI Connect activity just at the moment. But if you get yourselves going, get your profile populated, get that set up, and you can do that, remember, just by clicking that one there, update profile, my BNI page, and then you'll end up with a nicely populated page on BNI Merseyside, which is going to help your visibility, not just to other BNI members, but to the world at large. That's it for now, so please, as ever, quite simply remember, when it's Eclipse that you seek, you need to speak to Duncan the Geek. Thanks all, bye bye.